Hey everyone, it's Anna here at Dee's in Louisville, and I'm going to show you just a quick video on how to make a super easy summer grapevine wreath. It's also a really inexpensive wreath to make because of the things I chose to put in it. So if you're needing something for double doors or maybe a graduation gift, this is the perfect wreath to make. The reason why it tends to be more inexpensive is because I chose a floral bush to start with. So here you get all different kinds of flowers as opposed to having to buy them separately. So I get like 3 dahlias, and normally they're one on a stem and they can be more expensive, but now I get this whole bush and it's only $22, and I have a whole assortment here of like hydrangeas and peonies. I'm going to cut the whole thing up and add it onto the grapevine wreath. But to start with, I'm going to use this filler grass. It's a paper material. We have it in about 8 colors. And I'm going to cut it up and put that on first. So I just use my wire cutters, and at the very base of this stem, where they all start to go into the stem, you cut it right there, and it's going to go into 3 different pieces. So as you can see, there's 3 clumps, and it makes it really easy to use, and it fills in really well. So I'm going to start, I'm just going to dunk the bottom in a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to do 2 at the bottom and 1 at the top. So I'm just going to push it into the wreath, and then it does have a little wire at the base, and I'm going to kind of move it where I want it. And that gives you a really nice, wild, kind of fun, summery look. I'm going to take the other one, a little bit of hot glue, and I'm also going to go just probably about 4 inches, but at the bottom, 4 inches away from the first one. Same kind of thing, move it around with that wire at the base. And as you can see, that adds a lot of green, and it also adds this fullness and kind of a little bit to hang down, which looks really nice on a door. Take the last one, and you're going to go at an angle away from these 2 towards the top. I'm just going to go right in there. And again, just kind of open it up, fluff it up a little bit. There we go. Now I'm ready to start adding the flowers. So what I do is I go ahead and I cut them all away from the bush, and then I kind of separate them by flower to see how many I have. And then that way, since they're multicolored, I want to get color all over the wreath, and I can kind of see what I have. So after I finish, I'm just chopping them all off, and I'm not leaving them too long. I'm leaving them about an 8-inch stem. I can always cut them shorter, but that way I don't have these really long ones. I don't want them to stick out too far. So I've cut everything off of that bush, and I'm going to start with the big yellow dahlias. Since they're bigger of a flower, I want to put them on first, get them where I want them, and then add in the filler stuff and get smaller as I go. So I'm going to start with the biggest one. Just dunk it in a little bit of hot glue, and I'm going to put this one down here right by this first section I added in. Then I'm going to do another one down here, kind of off to the side. And I've got 2 more little ones, and I'm going to go up top with those. I'm going to let one kind of go up, and then the other one I'm going to kind of shoot off this direction here. All right, next I'm going to work with the pink flowers. There's 2 of them in this bush. They're kind of like these little hydrangea pieces. And again, I'm just going to dunk them and add them into the wreath. So these 2 I'm both going to go down here with. Next up, I have these little peachy flowers and corally. I'm going to grab them all at once, and I like to work with all the same color at the same time, just so I can evenly spread it out. But now I'm just going to quickly glue them all in. And as you can see, this goes so fast because you're not having to pick out all your flowers. It's kind of already decided for you, and you just dunk them in the glue and you can stick them wherever. But it makes for a really bright and pretty summery wreath. Let's go right here. I'm going to do one hanging a little bit lower right there. All right, and now I'm on to more of like the fillery kind of things. So some greenery, kind of like a little dusty berry there. And these I'm going to leave a little bit longer and kind of shoot them out to give the wreath a little bit more fullness. So the leaves kind of help, and I shot them off that way there. And I always step back and look at it, kind of decide where I need stuff, especially with these smaller filler flowers, because they're great to add into the gaps that you have. between the bigger flowers. Let's go there. Almost done adding those in. Go right up there with that one. So as you can see, that was just one bush that's $22, and it really filled up the wreath, and you get all these beautiful flowers added in. I did go ahead and grab one hot pink daisy stem just because I wanted a punch of that really bright color, because I'm going to do pink and coral ribbons on it. So I'm going to cut the same thing apart. This has 5 different daisy heads on it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those off the stem and add those in. Again, just kind of where I have a few little holes, just for that punch of that really hot pink. So this one I'm going to go right here. And it really shows up. And then it almost looks like it came with that bush, but it's just nice and bright. So I'll go there. I've got one more. Let's see. I'm going to go right up in here. And that looks great. So now I'm ready to add bows. I do have some little leaves I'm going to add at the very end to fill in just for a little bit more green. But right now I'm going to do a bow. I chose a 2.5 inch coral dot and then a 1.5 inch pink stripe. And I love that together. It's going to really pop. And I'm going to make a bow for down here and a bow for up here. So I always start with my wider ribbon. And it's going to be a really easy, simple bow. I'm going to take this coral. I'm going to make 2 loops. They're about 5 to 6 inch loops. Just like that. I'm going to take the pink right on top of that. And with the pink, since it's a little bit narrower, I'm going to make 3 loops. So right on top of that coral, just go on and make your 3 loops, same size, but all in your hand at once. Then take a little bit of that cloth covered wire, tie right where your hand is. And this is going to be the bigger of the 2 bows I'm going to add. So I'm going to put this one right here at the bottom. I'm going to go right in there where there's that little bit of a gap. Just go right into your wreath, and you're going to tie it around the grapevine. So that way it's really secure and it's all the way at the base. All right, so now I've got that tied on, ready to cut my tails. And see how pretty it is? It just fills it in really nicely, but it also will show up really great from the street. This would also be really nice if you're having like a graduation party, hosting a party for someone, like maybe a baby shower, and then they could take it with them because it ends up being so inexpensive. It'd be the perfect little hostess gift or a gift to give to the person you're having the party for. So I kind of fluffed it around, moved some of my flowers around a little bit, and now I'm ready to add one to the top. So same thing again, start with the coral. I'm going to make my loops a little bit smaller. They're only going to be like a 4 inch, 5 inch loop. Just going to make 2 there, go on and cut it. Leave this tail a little bit shorter than the first one. This is about a 12 inch. Those I left more like 14. I'm going to take my pink right on top again. I'm not going to do 3 loops this time. I'm going to do 2 smaller loops. There we go. Again, about a 12 inch tail. Down here on this bigger bow, I used about a 1.5 yards of each ribbon, and up here I used about a yard, close to a 1.5 yards again. So, you know, if you got a full roll of this, you could get a couple different bows for different wreaths out of it, or if you want to just buy the ribbon, you could get about 3 to 4 yards of each style. So I'm going to go on and tie this bow off. Again, I'm going to go right up in here where there's a little bit of a gap. Just tie my bow to the grapevine. Now I'm ready to cut my tails again. These tails I'm going to let kind of flow into the middle of the wreath. And I can move any of the flowers around I want. I kind of like bringing a flower to the middle of the bow. It always looks nice. and not like you stuck a bow on there. It really makes it look like it's a part of the wreath. And then lastly, I'm just gonna add in a little bit of greenery. The reason I do this is because I do see a few holes like in here and here where I just want a little bit more, especially up there kind of behind that bow. So this stem's nice because it has about 6 leaf branches on it, and I'm gonna cut it and use it in 2 sections. And again, just kind of look and eyeball where you want to fill in. It's nice too because it has like a stick on it, so it gives it a lot of texture. I'm going to go in with the bigger one. And it's all wired as well, so once you get it on there, you can move it where you want it to go. And a lot of times you think you have to add greenery first, put all your greenery on, but no, something like this is really nice just to fill in, and you can add it before the bow or at the very end like I'm doing. So a couple more, I'm going to stick this one up here. And then lastly, I'm going to add this little guy in right over here. Wire it around where I want it. Step back, make sure I don't have any more holes. And as you can see, that was a super quick and easy grapevine wreath. Perfect for your door for summer. And it didn't take that long. It took 5, maybe 10 minutes after you pick out what you want. But come on in and grab everything you need to make this, and stay tuned for more videos we're going to be posting all summer long.